first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let off my my multi-target missiles, and boom, you see something there already.
Yeah, you totally just blew up a jet over.
Now what I'm going to try to do,
you're flying
this
over?
is Dubai I'm flying over,
Yeah.
and I am now going to initiate something that's new.
What's this?
In this particular Ace Combat game.
Aiming down the sights?
This is dogfighting mode.
Okay.
And when I'm in a particular position and close enough to an enemy jet, and I'm in the right kind of jet, whether I'm in a fighter or whether I'm in a multi-purpose jet, I can initiate that mode.
Nice.
And what that does is you basically follow in sort of an on-rails fashion.
Okay.
Not wholly on rails, of course, but
you got to keep going in the right direction, but you're not like some of the control of the plane is sort of taken care of for you.
Right.
Okay.
And in cases like that, I'm generally not going to run into buildings if it takes me through buildings and things like that. Now here's a case where I've got an enemy on my tail.
Okay, so someone is trying to dogfight mode you.
But I can initiate a quick time event
do a loop
and
de loop.
turn the tails.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of the
Totally blew
gist
that dude
of the
up.
flying. You've got your standard flying that you would normally expect, such as what you see here, and I can use my.
Can you go buzz the tower?
Gun.
Can you go buzz the Burj Khalifa?
And I can, but.
Oh, dogfighting time! Yeah.
Named enemies are generally a little tougher.
Sorry, you didn't think we were going to get through this without like a Top Gun reference?
Yeah, please do.
Right?
And what's interesting, you'll notice, it's very cinematic. It shows a close-up of him exploding, and then of course I get Call of Duty Alien Blood and oil. Well, I assume that it's not
just because it's
necessarily
coming.
all
That's
blood.
what's the effluent of that the detritus from the exploding plane.
Absolutely, and it's all over my windshield.
Nice.
Windex will always be in business.
Or I mean, when you're flying at 1399 speeds per hour, you probably don't need Windex.
No, usually
comes
not.
off.
At least not while you're flying.
Oh, look, it's that palm tree, that crazy palm tree community. What they made in the ocean.
Well, that's what's really interesting in a way about this particular game as opposed to most Ace Combat games. Is this is rather than a fictional environment that sort of resembles Earth. This is our world. It's a fictional story, of course.
Whoa!
See, I like to keep things dramatic.
Yeah, that was good, Kevin. Nice.
The game will always remind you to pull up if you get too close to the ground.
So considerate of it.
Absolutely.
Wow, the skies over Dubai are just thick with fighter jets.
Absolutely, and a little more raspberry jelly on the screen there.
Oh, can you show us some of the architecture?
Sure. You want me to fly in?
Yeah. Can we just buzz like Main Street down here?
We'll not worry so much about the mission at hand.
I just want to see some of the take a quick look at there's the Arabian Desert. Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Are doing it.
Right on through. Things are tough, in this story. I don't want to give too much away for people that are going to be playing it, but let's just say that there's there's a reason we're fighting over these major cities.
Okay.
And
not just because they look cool.
Not just because they look cool, but there are indeed bad guys, and some typical bad guys. They're not, they're bad guys you've seen in video games before.
Are they terrorist bad guys?
They are terrorist bad guys.
You tagged him.
I did.
Nice flying.
But
Captain.
they are also Russian terrorist bad guys.
Russians.
So we're really kind of covering both bad guy scenarios in one.
Yeah. All right. Now you're flying. You said you're flying a Mig.
I am.
But you made mention of a more multi-purpose jet. What are some of the other aircraft?
Well, there are all sorts of
here?
things. There are Hornets in here. F-18s. There's
so
a
like
lot
fighter
of
jets.
Fighter jets. You've got games. You've also got jets that can do double duty for ground and air targets. Some are better suited for fighting in the air. Some are better suited for ground combat.
Would you call them bombers?
Are both. Yes, there are bombers in the game.
Okay.
But you don't do a whole lot of bombing in the single-player campaign. There is some bombing.
Now you say in the single-player campaign as if there's some sort of bomber mode that's separate. What else is there here besides single-player campaign?
Besides the single-player campaign, you can go back and play free missions. There's also, some interesting online component. There's co-op. You can go back and play with up to 2 others in co-op, which is really nice. And that's the co-op campaign. And online, you get mixes of all sorts of different jets as well as helicopters. There are helicopter missions in the game that work, somewhat differently than the standard jet flying, in the sense that they control a lot like a first-person shooter might control.
Really? So, like, I was stopped by your desk the other day, and you were sort of hovering and strafing around a building, and you're shooting human targets.
I was.
So it's...
But not just human targets. There are, other choppers that you're going to target, and things like, SAMs and stuff like that.
Cool. So. All right. Now, folks, as you know, we are live, and so if you have questions for Kevin about Ace Combat Assault Horizon, sound off in the chat and let us know, because we are totally here for you and also for the purpose of shooting down jets in video games. So in this mission, I mean, is this like, this is the lead guy, right?
Yeah.
So if you vanquish him, is it
well, the missions generally last, I mean, like in a lot of Ace Combat games, the missions generally last, a decent amount of time.
Okay.
So it's always a multi-part mission, for the most part, not all of them, but almost all of them. So once I complete one stage, it'll move on to the next. And as you see, some of these dogfighting sequences take you through the streets. Don't let that freak you out too much. I'm not in a whole lot of danger.
I was getting a little freaked out, not for you, but for the mild-mannered office workers of downtown Dubai. Like, yeah, you're there, you're collating, you're filing and brewing the coffee, and then all of a sudden, and actually, folks, this week in San Francisco is Fleet Week, which is when the Blue Angels come to town, and so just earlier this afternoon, we heard the roar of fighter jets zooming over the city, and so this demo is very appropriate, and perhaps that's why I was getting a little nervous. When you were just zooming through downtown, I was picturing that in San Francisco.
Well, I almost got nervous just now because I almost stalled. So let's go ahead and try to, on the radar, the most important enemies show as red markers, but others show.
And you've got a couple on your tail, so why don't you do some barrel rolls? And we're gonna bring this demo to a close.
All right.
This was our